Hi, this is Nicholas Bell with IONCINEMA here to review Tom Clancy's Without Remorse, which will be available on Amazon Prime April 30th, 2021. It was a Paramount property that, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, has seeing it premiere on the Amazon Prime streaming service instead. Notably, it was based on, as the title suggests, Tom Clancy's novel of the same title, published in 1993. At one point, this was it's a spin-off of the Jack Ryan novels, focusing on a character named John Kelly/Clark that was supposed to star Keanu Reeves in the 1990s. That never came to fruition. We've seen tons of Jack Ryan iterations with multiple actors playing that character over the past 2 decades. You know, we have The Hunt for Red October, Patriot Games, Clear and Present Danger, The Sum of All Fears, Jack Ryan's Shadow Recruit, there's the John Krasinski-led television series, and now here we are at last with a little bit of color in the Tom Clancy universe, which I was very curious to see. This was filmed by Stefano Sollima, the director who's probably best known in the US for the sequel to Sicario, Day of the Soldado, which Taylor Sheridan wrote both of the Sicario films and also adapted this film alongside Will Staples, which I thought made me curious to see it. So Michael B. Jordan is a U.S. Navy SEAL as a senior chief named John Kelly. It starts out in Aleppo. His team is fed information by Jamie Babbitt's character, Robert Ritter, that there is a CIA operative being held hostage by the Syrian military. When they go in to rescue him, however, they find it's not the Syrian military, but an ex-Russian operative that they have to execute to get the CIA operative, which causes, a huge ripple effect. We fast forward 3 months to Washington, D.C. Kelly is retiring from the military. He's going to take a job in the private sector in security. His wife, Pam, played by Lauren London, is 8 months pregnant. Everything seems fine, but then, kind of like in the Parallax View, all the people that were witness to this ex-Russian military operative getting murdered in Aleppo, they're all being killed. And there's an attempt made on Kelly's life. They kill his wife and unborn child. He barely makes it out alive, but is able to kill 3 of the Russian operatives in his home, but 1 gets away. In response to that, there's a firestorm in the media about these Russian operatives found on U.S. soil, of course. The Secretary of Defense, played by Guy Pearce, gets involved. He is colluding with Jamie Bell's character, and he brings in Lieutenant Commander Karen Greer, played by Jodie Turner-Smith, who's more or less the friendly ally for John Kelly, as it comes to find that Thomas Clay brings her on board for a very specific purpose. She feeds Kelly the information about the 3 men dead in his home and the man that proved their passports, a Russian official played by Merab Ninins, who we just saw in The Courier opposite Benedict Cumberbatch. A very fiery, violent scenario staged by Kelly at the Dulles airport ends up in him finding out the identity of the 4th man, Viktor Rykov, played by Brett Gelman. And then he's put in prison. Thomas Clay, Guy Pearce's senator, gets him out and basically says, I'll allow you to go on this mission to Russia to find this Rykov, but when you come back, you're going to have to go back to prison. All of these extremely large and bright red flags that don't really make a whole lot of sense, kind of bog down Without Remorse irreparably. It also doesn't help that there isn't much tension, even though there are some nicely staged action sequences. Michael B. Jordan giving a very serious performance, not a lot of character work here. In other words, kind of a slog to get through. And once we get to them heading off to Murmansk, Russia, it's just a very straightforward ordeal. And then once all is revealed and all the insidious villainy of people involved in a plot to orchestrate something terrible, it just makes it seem like, despite updating Clancy's novel to, what's happening in Syria, etc., it still feels like a property in the 1990s. that doesn't quite work. It is interesting to see Jordan inhabit a character we've seen played by many white actors. Well, Willem Dafoe in Clear and Present Danger for one, etc. Jamie Bell's character was played by Henry Czerny in that film. It's just never interesting enough. Jodie Turner-Smith, who's recently in Queen and Slim, unfortunately is very monotonous, very one note in her attempt to be serious, which kind of also assists in bogging down the material. A lot of notable people in the supporting cast that seem very underutilized and are of a higher pedigree than suggests why they would appear in the film. Coleman Domingo plays a pastor who's very, I guess, uniquely utilized, but really has nothing to do. Considering Taylor Sheridan, whose strengths as a screenwriter, speak for themselves. I mean, all you have to do is take a look at Hell or High Water to see kind of what he's capable of. Wind River and Sicario have their elements of interest as well. This just, again, feels like maybe this should have happened in the 90s and maybe isn't necessary right now. However, I would give Tom Clancy's Without Remorse 2 out of 5 stars. Thank you.
Hey, this is Eric from IONCINEMA.com. If you want to support us, subscribe below. For more reviews, interviews, film festival coverage from Sundance, Cannes, Toronto, you want to check out these guys on this side.